Hello everyone and welcome. In today's video, I'm gonna talk about home lab, and I feel is often missing from many home lab tutorials. And you see there are already tons of videos out there explaining how to build a home lab and what hardware you should buy and how to set up a basic bare metal system or something like that. And maybe you can select a laptop or desktop or a server or a NAS or yeah, you know that. So once you have your home lab, and what can you actually do with it? And what can you use it for? So this video, especially for those who are just starting out in IT or networking, maybe you are learning for your CCNA. For example, I'm working on my CCNP certificate, and maybe you are switching careers, or maybe you've already set up a few virtual machines, and now you're wondering what's the next. Well, I'm gonna introduce my home lab. First of all, a home lab is more than just a test bed. You must know that, right? And it's your training ground. It's a kind of sandbox and private enterprise environment, and it's where you feel safely and learn deeply. So let's break it down into a few categories, like my mind map. Okay, so I made this mind map to explain what I did. The first, I built a system architecture, and I use Proxmox as the basic system and its nested virtualization system. And on that, I built the network infrastructure. I use OPNsense Firewall as my gateway and the real firewall at home. So I use another function like VPN as another virtual system, and I install the VPN software and the Cloudflare kernel in that wherever I am. So maybe I'm at school and I can use my cell phone or laptop, and I just click that button. The VPN is enabled and I can connect with my home network. And I also have a Wi-Fi router. And after that, I have some local hosts, like I have a NAS and I have a home camera and I have my laptop at home. And I also have so many wireless devices. You must know that cell phones or Nintendo Switch or iPad. So I'm gonna show the possibility to you. So maybe you don't need to follow everything that I did. Maybe you have some other opinions or thoughts and you can finish it. So I deployed the chat server, which is Matrix, and it's an end-to-end encryption chat server. So I can talk some sensitive topic with my friends. And this is my network, and I use a Cloudflare kernel to connect with my local network, although I'm outside. And I use this VPN Tailscale VPN. So forgive me, there are so many new words for me. Forgive my pronunciation if I made some mistakes. And yes, you can correct it in the content. Okay, and next, it's the emulation platform. Yes, I realized that I used another word's virtualization environment, but I think this is a correct term. Emulation platform, I use GS3 and EVNG. I prefer EVNG, and it's not today's topic. Okay, and I installed so many containers, and it's called Talos, maybe? And I use this K8s and Docker. Docker, yeah, it's very popular and famous. And I installed iTop, the IT management software, because I used it before, but just the basic function. But this is best practice for you if you want to learn some ITO knowledge or want to get more familiar with the workflow, and yes, so you can use that. So this is only an example. You can deploy so many different kinds of system here. And yes, I also deploy the Windows. It's a domain. So I have a domain controller and I have my Exchange server for testing. I can test and try so many PowerShell commands, and yes, maybe I can use a script to do it automatically. And other IT software like SAP or ERP, maybe you don't know that this is enterprise resource planning. Yeah, so if you want to practice some operating system fundamentals and the file system or permission, you can use the command to maybe change the permission of the file. I still remember it's called chmod or 755 or like that, something like that. So this is good practice. And I also did this, but only the beginning of this stuff. I plan to deploy the local AI system on my server. So these are the materials that I did the research. So I only started a little bit of it, not everything, but I have a plan to do that. So that's another topic. I will make another video to explain what I want to do. Okay, so this is the introduction of this video, and I'm gonna show you something about my home lab. Okay, this is my home lab topology, and first let me introduce the legend. And the green port, which means the physical port. And you can see I use the physical link to link the ports together. And the blue port is the virtual port, which means I just I created the virtual port as a network, or you can imagine it's a kind of switch. And I use the virtual link to link them together. And this one is very special. Yes, it's a physical port, but I set it as the path-through mode, which means OPNsense can use it isolatedly, which means Proxmox cannot use it anymore. Okay, and this is a bridge, which means I linked the different name of the interfaces and with the virtual or physical port. Okay, and let's go back to the topology. And as you know, I have my PowerEdge T320 server. And yes, you must know it has an iDRAC port, which means this port is a kind of control panel. It's a very basic system, and you can access this system and to control the whole server. You can power on or power off it. So no matter what happened, you still can use this one. The boundary is the structure of my server. I installed the Proxmox bare metal, and then I installed the OPNsense Firewall as a nested virtualization system, and I use this system to control every ports, no matter how it's physical or virtual. Okay, so I created the network. You can see I use a different IP address as my subnet. I have a local AI and VMs and VE, which means virtual environment, and I use VPN. So you can see I used a different CIDR, and I created the virtual network or interface. So I link them together, and I introduced this legend you must know. And this is the name in Proxmox. When you created a new interface, so the name is VMBR with a number, and you can link them. It's called bridge. So I bridged the VMBR 0 and 1 with my two physical ports. And this port, one port is the path-through mode, which means I assign this port to OPNsense isolatedly. So the Proxmox cannot control that port. And after that, I can configure the OPNsense to write so many rules and between the different networks. And you can see these are two ports, physical ports, and why I link them together with my Wi-Fi router. Yes, it doesn't make sense. I only need one, but I faced a crucial issue. Just imagine if my OPNsense has any issue, for example, it cannot boot up, or my Proxmox has some problems and I cannot access that. So what can I do? The only thing that I can do, I can use the iDRAC to restart the whole system. And I realized that I need a physical port to manage the OPNsense. And why I didn't assign another physical port to Proxmox? Because yes, I think this is another topic. It's very detailed. So I don't want to explain that. You just know that I did this. Okay. And I link them together for some reasons. Okay, so I use my Wi-Fi router and linked my laptop and my NAS and use the physical link. And these are the wireless devices. And I use the WAN physical port to link to my ISP. I am living in an apartment, so I don't have a public IP address. So after a while, you can see the WAN port IP address is private, class A private IP address. Okay, so yes, I configured so many rules in the OPNsense, and these are the rules I can explain. I allow the LAN to any because my NAS and laptop are all in the LAN network, and I only allow the VPN to WAN virtual environment and VM, and you can see VM to VE and WAN and AI to WAN. So I denied any to LAN except VPN. So that's a detail about the rules I will show you. So these are the basic rules I configured. Next, you can see this is my Proxmox and I use the folder view. You can see I only have one node. This is my PVE, and you can see I created, yes, this is my Linux bridge. So this is the bridge. And as I know, this is a kind of switch. You can imagine this is a virtual switch, and all the virtual system linked to this switch, they are in the same network. So I assigned this bridge to my OPNsense. So it's here, right? And yes, you can see I have my container. This is N8N and this is Cloudflare, right? And these are my virtual machine. I have this firewall, my OPNsense firewall. Yes, and this is a web GUI. Okay, I will introduce this later. And this is my GS3, and I didn't put it up. And this is my EVNG, so which is here. And this is, yes, this is a test topology. It can help me comprehend the knowledge for my CCNP. Yes, you can see this is my EVNG and this is my iTop, where is my iTop? I deployed iTop here, right? This is a cluster. I mean, it's a kind of group of the container. I forgot how to pronounce that word. You forgive me. I forgot how to pronounce. Oh yes, this word. Cluster. cluster. Okay, I have two machines. You can see this is a cluster. It's a group. So this is a control plane, and this is a work node. I can have more than one work node. And yes, I installed the, where is my iTop? Yes, this is my iTop. And you can see I can log in with the local IP address. And yes, you can do so many tests here. You can get more familiar with the workflow here and what's incident management. Yes, configuration management and what is CI and how to create a new CI and what's the relationship between the different organizations. Yeah, so that's the iTop stuff, the container part. And this is my Windows part. You can see I use a blue, like a tag, to separate them, and it's easy to recognize. And this is, yeah, this is my domain controller, and I didn't start it. And this is my Exchange server. And you can see this is Ubuntu Linux client, which controls my container controller. And you can see if I want to see the status of my group, and which is Ronnie. And this is my N8N. I plan to use this to create an AI workflow. For example, I have my blog, and after I write some articles, and I can use a flow to check if I can add some resources as the references, or I can use some other parts as a citation. So I plan to do that. And maybe after a while you can read my new style of my blog posts. Okay, so these are the virtual machines that I did. And yes, I think I will make another video to introduce and explain the detail about the Proxmox. Okay, and next, I'm gonna show you my OPNsense, and I really, really love this firewall. Although I use the virtual system with Palo Alto firewall, but I really love this one. I prefer this one. Okay, and you can see the diagram is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So you can see these are the gateways, and as I said that in my home lab topology, you can see these are the network, and these are the interfaces. I named them VPN, LAN management, or VM, and these are the services, and I use the shaper. Shaper. Yes, it's shaper and packet filter. And you can see the interfaces here, and this is AI and LAN management, and this is container. And where is my NAT rules? Yeah, it's very basic. And you can see other rules here, right? AI and LAN, inbound or outbound management, and VE, virtual environment, and VM. These are the very basic, but this is not basic. Okay, and this is the shaper. I usually play World of Tanks, so I don't want to. I don't want any other applications affect me. So yes, I config these rules, and it works. It works. You can see this is the flow. You can see it works. And VPN, no, I didn't use this yet because I don't have the public IP address, as I said. Yeah, this is the basic setting of my OPNsense firewall. Oh yes, you must notice that I use this domain, the local domain, and without any warning. And this is, it's called unbound DNS here. Here. So I config this domain. I can use this domain without any warnings. I love it. Okay. And go back to my mind maps, as I said, and you already viewed my home lab. Oh, I didn't show my chat server. It doesn't matter. My chat server is not in my Proxmox, but my NAS. Yes, these are what I did, and maybe you can do it better. Okay, at the end of this video, I want to explain the purpose of that I create videos in my channel. I don't want to create the video that it's a kind of duplicate video, which means someone has already created a video about that knowledge and I do it again. I don't want to do that. But if I found out some knowledge, that video, I mean, in the past, it didn't cover the knowledge, and I encountered a serial problems or issues, and I fixed them all. And I realized that it is very important to show the detail about the problem or issue. I will create a video about that. For example, in the past, you must, yes, I assume that you viewed my video about how to boot up the Juniper VEX switch because it took me 1 and 2 hours to boot it up. So that's a demonstration. I'm not complaining the videos that I watched in the past because these videos really helped me a lot. However, some of the videos, I think it's kind of accidentally missed something. And maybe they assumed that I have already comprehend some basic knowledge, but I didn't. So if I realize that I have to do something, I have to explain, I have to link this knowledge with this knowledge together because something is lacked between them, I will make a video. And second, I plan to show some isolate project that I plan to do or I just done it. And I will show the plan, the structure, the detail about the project, what I did. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.